It's nice to take a break from those titles that have so much content that you can't seem to put the game down without feeling completely lost. This is a large reason why I enjoy visiting the retro selection on the Switch. I can pick up a wide selection of games across different eras that require almost no effort to at least try out. And if I were to play Roar of Revenge in the NES section, then I'd probably say it's one of the best titles on there. I'm no pro when it comes to the older games as I grew up in the 64 era, however, I've played my fair share of these titles, and Roar of Revenge captures that NES aesthetic while adding some modern touches of balance. If this game didn't have these checkpoints here, then I genuinely don't think I would have beat the game. A lot of the classic NES titles take a more arcadey approach that uses continues, and once those continues are up, you must restart the game. I personally am not a fan of this playstyle, which is also why you won't find me covering too many roguelikes on this channel. I don't like restarting with no progress, so for that reason, I appreciated the checkpoint system in Roar of Revenge. The game wasn't overly challenging, but it definitely had some difficult areas that would have been painful to get through. I remember dying like 10 times in this area of the catacombs, which just shattered my hope of finishing the game under 10 deaths. Depending on the amount of deaths you finish the game with will determine the ending that you receive. I finished with around 40 deaths and got a pretty basic ending. However, it's not like I was expecting much anyway from a game that was supposed to replicate something from the 1980s. It's just nice to have a little extra incentive to do well besides just the score, which I never really look at anyways. I was very happy with the modern touches of this and the checkpoint system as it created more balance to what would be a very difficult single playthrough game. I know some people chase that stuff, but it's just not for me, so kudos to those who can do that. On a more simple note, Roar of Revenge nails the NES aesthetic. I've been playing a handful of games across the Switch's online features, and Roar of Revenge truly has the look and feel of a polished NES title. I'm aware it took inspiration from Rastan, however, I never got the chance to play it, so I'd rather not speak on that. The design's simple. The plot's given to you at the beginning of the playthrough, then you go off on your adventure to stop the man lying from ravaging the kingdom. You must first find the 4 relics before taking on the cursed titans, and discovering these relics is what brings that adventure aspect to the game that a lot of the NES titles don't have. With each relic found, you unlock a new ability to use as well as a new look to show. The game still operates the same as you continue each level going in basically one direction, however, now you'll have a few new tricks up your sleeve. But before discovering these relics, you start off with just the attack button. Somehow, I still very much enjoyed this during the first stage, especially during this sequence. Roar of Revenge capitalizes on its simplicity. It does what it needs to do in providing a challenge, but it also offers a sense of progression. I think what I enjoyed most in this game was the level design and variety of enemies. A lot of the classic NES games do a great job adding variety to each stage, and Roar of Revenge also does this while bringing new catchy themes with each level. I was bought in with the music from the start and pretty much enjoyed every soundtrack in the game. All the levels are very different from one another in terms of gameplay design. You have varied platforming obstacles to overcome within each new environment. It could involve swimming, flying, or some precise jumping. You have levels that range from a classic-styled castle to the dark underground, and then even to an alien stronghold. There's definitely a lot going on in this medieval-type setting. And of course, the 8-bit graphics are spot on with the retro look. Both the background and foreground design fits the aesthetic wonderfully, and you had enemies to match the theme of each level. This is something that a lot of the classic action games also do, and it's a large reason I enjoy playing these so much. However, the bosses in these games aren't anything special, but do play carefully so you don't end up losing a bunch of your lives during these encounters, and you can get that better ending. Roar of Revenge shows that you can take a game from the past and add some modern touches, yet keep it true to its base. This is a formula I'd love to see more of, as there is a niche for these titles, and I think as more and more pixelated games get released, the more normalized this formula will become again. And I do believe simple can be better. I prefer a shorter game with design and sound variety than a large game with open space and no personality. I'm sure if you're watching this video, then you can probably agree with that. And as you can tell, I'm a big fan of these titles, so if you could think of anything similar, please let me know in the comments below, and definitely give Roar of Revenge a try. It's only $5, and unless you're a pro, you should still get a few hours of playtime with it.